Hey guys, it's Siobhan with ToKittyandBeyond. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing another episode of Starseed Origins, and I'll be combining two separate Starseed soul groups into one episode here today, simply because they are very similar. Although they are from different planets and they are technically different soul groups, there's a lot of overlap and similarities, and their fate has been connected through time. So I wanted to talk about Martians and Maldekians today. So Martians obviously come from Mars, and Maldekians come from a planet called Maldek that used to exist in this solar system but ended up blowing up, and that was the resulting cataclysm on Mars as well. So let's talk about Maldekians first. So Maldek was quite a large planet in our solar system technically, but it's now where the asteroid belt is. So all of that asteroid debris is thought to be from the explosion of Maldek. So Maldek was a warlike civilization. Their planet was very advanced technologically, and they were very highly intelligent beings, but they were very much in the mental realm, and their technology began to exceed their spiritual development. So we have seen a little bit of that here on Earth as well, but we're starting to kind of catch up. But Maldekians, they didn't. They weren't able to get to that spiritual place where they weren't going to use the technology that they had created to essentially destroy themselves. So they did end up destroying themselves. The planet was exploded, most likely by a nuclear bomb of some kind or something similar, and the fallout from that actually reached to Mars as well. So Mars was affected by the destruction of Maldek. All of the planets within our solar system were to some degree as well, but Mars really took the brunt of it. So Maldekian souls tend to be very mentally gifted, very intelligent. They do have difficulty expressing their emotions, though, because they were such a male sort of dominant polarity within that soul group. They were very much in the mind and not in the heart, which was why they had struggles with spirituality and their moral development, in conjunction with their technological advancement. So they can have difficulty expressing emotions. It can be a challenge for Maldekians to connect with the emotional body, with the heart, with love in general. That's not to say that they can't love. They most certainly can, and they do. It's just that they have difficulty identifying with very intense emotions, especially those of a higher vibrational frequency like love and joy and unconditionality. So Maldekians are very deliberate decision makers. They tend to really know what they want and then go after it. They can be very driven as well. Sometimes that can be detrimental because they will work so hard towards something that they will kind of step on people to get the job done, or they will disregard certain rules or things like that. They can be very kind of one-track mind, and if that's not tempered with compassion and empathy, it can create some issues. The dysfunctional aspect of the Maldekian soul group is social awkwardness. So sometimes they just don't understand social niceties like small talk and, little things like courtesy and manners. It's not that they're rude. They're just very blunt. They don't tend to think about other people's emotions because they don't really understand their own. So that's not to say, again, it's not to say that they don't have emotions or that they're not capable of loving. They most certainly can, and they do. It's just that they are not very aware. And so they can sometimes kind of bulldoze into situations and kind of complicate things when it comes to social interactions. They can also just feel very awkward around other people simply because they don't understand other people's emotions or the way that people behave, which is all functioning on emotions. All of our behaviors are driven by emotions. Even if we like to think that we're very logical, very, mind-centered people, we still tend to function on emotions. So Maldekians, they don't necessarily understand that. They do their very best to try and integrate into this society. And a lot of them are still dealing with a lot of karma and also a lot of guilt and pain from the destruction of their planet. So that planet is destroyed. They can never return there. So they are kind of like refugees on Earth, as are Martians. So let's get to Mars Starseed souls. So these are also soul level refugees. They had to flee from their planet to Earth because the nuclear radiation does affect souls as well. Now it's not that it is really bad, but it's just not great for souls because nuclear frequency, it kind of causes distortion in the soul, so it's just not good for a soul to be in that for a long period of time, just like the physical body would get a mutation or something like that. It's kind of the same at soul level, as the physical body is a representation materially of the soul. So Mars souls are masculine dominant souls as well, so they tend to be very action oriented, very mind oriented. They tend to be slightly aggressive as well, similar to Maldekians. But Mars souls, in their physical appearance, I've seen kind of some similarities in their traits. They can tend to have very kind of stocky bodies. They're very, kind of really solid, not like super wide set or anything like that, but just very solid, very stocky, oftentimes muscly as well, male or female. They're just they have like a warrior type of body, and that's because the Mars soul group is a warrior type of soul group. So they love structure and order. They have aggressive tendencies, and they do lean toward sort of military expressions within society. So they like physical structure. They like things to be regimented. They like things to be very orderly. And they can have that tendency towards aggression or male dominant sort of expression, whether they're female or male. So, this lends very well to military style groups or functions or orders and things like that. They tend to gravitate towards those things. So for example, my boyfriend is a Pleiadian soul group primary, but he has an underlay in Mars, which means that he actually spent a lot of time on Mars, and he began to identify with that soul group, even though it wasn't where he was originally from. And now in this life, he's, quite stocky, well-built, very muscular, broad-chested, very masculine, has a tendency to be a little bit aggressive and have anger bubble up sometimes. And he works in, a very regimented, very orderly, almost military-esque job. So that's the kind of expression of Martian souls. They feel very comfortable there. And Martian souls they can be very loving as well. The predisposition does tend to be a little bit more masculine and aggressive, though. The dysfunction of Martian souls is reclusivity and being withdrawn. So if they find that they're not getting the order that they need within the social structures that they're in, or they find that their aggressive sort of way of dealing with problems or creating solutions is not well received by the people around them, they can tend to pull back and pull away. And so it's important for souls from this group to ensure that they are tempering that sort of aggression with compassion, with empathy as well, which they are fully capable of. It's just a little bit more of a learning curve for them to do that and to practice that on a regular basis. Same thing with Maldekian souls. So Mars souls can also have a little bit of that wounding around the planet. The planet still exists, but it's not the same as it was. It's not a habitable planet at this point. And a lot of those souls do have a lot of trauma from that experience and having to flee. It's kind of like a war-torn country, and you become a refugee and you have to kind of start somewhere else, and it's unfamiliar, and you've been through a lot. That's kind of what Martian and Maldekian souls can tend to feel. It was quite traumatic for them. And so there is some healing to do around that. And if they do feel called to do that, they will have support in that healing. I've worked with a few of these souls myself, and each time there is definitely some heart healing and some root chakra healing to do in terms of feeling safe within this body, within this society, within this soul group, the human soul group. So that's pretty much it for Martian and Maldekian souls. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening. And if you're interested in finding out what your soul group of origin is, as well as your soul type and expression, how you can manifest, and any karmic blocks and restrictions that may be holding you back from really empowering yourself and standing in your divinity, please reach out to me at services.ToKittyandBeyond@gmail.com for an Akashic Records soul realignment reading. All of the information, pricing, and details for all of my services and offerings, including my Akashic reading offer, is in the description box below this video. Sending you guys much love and blessings. We'll see you next time. Bye.